All right, hello and welcome back to the channel today, everybody. We have a ACW battle for you today on Napoleon Total War. Before we get into it, I just want to go ahead and say real quick, make sure you look down below in the description for a link to a Discord if you are interested in taking part in an ACW tournament hosted by myself and Chaotic Battles. His channel will be linked below as well. All you need to do join the Discord, react to the event for the ACW tournament. It'll be in the top left-hand corner of the Discord. It is going to be a 1v1 tournament. Uh, there is going to be a prize set up. All the information will be below. So go ahead and make sure you check that out if you want to take part in that. It should be a lot of fun. Combat started real fast today. It was only about 7 minutes in when the lines actually met each other. We have 5th ran straight down the road in the center. Looks like they may have been trying to catch the Confederacy off guard or get an early push. But either way, they're now caught out in the road trying to form their lines. And District is trying to form up earlier than it looks like they were ready for. It's just going to be a race to see who gets their volleys off first. Pump that thing. Oh, and 5th Corps managed to envelop District's flank. They may be able to pull out here, actually. Doesn't look like it's going to punish them for it, but District got lucky there. That could have been a break. And they are now giving ground. Elsewhere, we have right wing taking up position in the forest. Left wing on the far left flank of the forest. 4th and 5th Corps had an interesting job with the majority of their forces massed in the center here to try and help push down the plains. But they also had a detachment on this island to the top right of the map, northeast, however you want to call that. And I assume their job was to try and take control and provide artillery support because they do have their army set up back here. However, Anderson's division, along with some right-wing cavalry, managed to stall their acquisition of the hilltop. So the Union made a very hard, kind of map-centralized push straight up, very fast, very hard. It does seem to be costing them dearly, though, the initial push. 5th Corps is taking the brunt of it, right? But also, well, they're causing some casualties. Those district siege mortars, especially once you cross the halfway point of the map, getting closer to them, that is, they're just so dangerous. Not only can they chunk units, but they can chunk morale like that. It does help that they've lost 50 men already. Chaotic and I both took part in this battle. I am here at right wing, which most of my attention was right about here for this battle. and Chaotic was over here with the main goal of securing this island for us. We had Utopia as district in the center, did a wonderful job of firing and retreating, falling back his lines, and letting the Union center continue to bulge. On the opposing side, the Union side, we had Wolf, who, for having to manage two players fighting his front and stretching it out across the entire thing, he did amazingly. He kept repelling the left-wing push, and he stayed on me constantly. I did not have a chance to push back against him in a meaningful way, at least. Irish committed hard at first, leaves some troops behind, and is still chasing down district here. But artillery fire is starting to take a sustained toll on his men. Doesn't have the largest unit counts to begin with. And district is also taking fairly significant losses. The fear in the Confederate lines as this massive Union center is just pushing straight down their throats. There's not a whole lot we could do besides just continue to give ground. On this side, we had Chaotic pull off his rear guard, trying to delay 20 and 21st so that they could not reach the 20-gun battery for district siege weapons, which were just spraying across this entire field. He did a good job with the lines on the bank, the soldiers marching over top. We've mostly taken control of the island at this point. They have some forces still here, and they do look like they're going to brace, but we have a far superior force on the island, unless something's hiding in the woods. Back over here, we see the result of a 5th Corps' first small attempt at a push. They tried to get in there for a close-range melee, I believe. Did not go well. But other than that, they do still seem to be accomplishing their goal of pushing the Confederate center back all the way to map border. Not slowing down at all. Taking large hits, though. 20th Maine busted. Oh, no, sorry. It's 146th New York. But the district is suffering similar losses. 1st Florida Battalion. That's not a good regiment to see run. I had way too much delay on this order, and I lose the 6th Kentucky because of it. Mini Stop was playing 4th and 5th. And we had Arabia on 20th Corps. Arabia spent a large section of their army kind of holding Chaotic at bay on this flank, holding their troops back, because they're also using troops in the north at the other river crossing to do the same thing, trying to make sure that Chaotic's army is now basically uselessly stuck on that island. Which is a problem that we only realized once it was far too late. The Confederate center has completely shifted to a 45-degree angle, and we've left our right flank completely alone, cut off. Anyways, in the woods, left wing out here stretching second corps in the woods, doing what they can to try and pull large amounts of their forces down and out this way, trying to keep them from being able to amass enough men here to push through me. And I very much appreciate them doing that, because that freed up my howitzers to continue shooting down on this mass of men here. Ooh. Did they get it? Nope. Infinite reload. Oh no. The 1841's going to suffer. Right wing must now fall back. Anderson starting to corner the rest of the 4th and 5th that's left over here. Drive them off the island. Almost firmly under Confederate control at this point. And 20th, 21st Corps is pulling back as the nearby howitzer fire, as well as all the Chaotix troops here, starting to put some heavy casualties on their men. Some morale loss, fatigue. Got some really healthy units though still. If they can position to better ground, they can still take care of Anderson. Now District is feeling a little gutsy. Decided to sally forth, unleash some volleys on the remainder of 5th Corps. Second Corps slowly inching down the hill bit by bit, getting towards right wing's face. We have no choice but to fall back and give ground soon. But our last stand point is the artillery. Never give the artillery. The district is okay, but they have taken decent losses. They're not in a position to try and fight difficult battles right now, or a hard-fought melee. Fifth Corps starting to wither. Ooh. Fifth Corps may be withering, but they're finally pushed into a melee attack here. Yeah, that 132nd Pennsylvania is a large unit. That is not a fun unit to fight. If I'm not mistaken here, I give up more ground as a result of that attack. I feel like that was friendly fire, if I remember correctly. There's an explosion in my lines. I'm about 90% sure that it was from Utopia's siege guns. There you go. Union has lock victory at this point, but it is getting much tighter with the Confederates establishing control of the island. That gives us 4 points, and the Union has 5 at the moment. Now the battle for the river crossing begins. The next stage of the combat on this island. Oh, those howitzer and siege mortar casualties are brutal.
Some help.
Your men have been routed, sir.
Minnie stopped trying to use the trees to his advantage for a while. He's had to march through a lot of open bits out here and then through this section, just occasionally broken up by trees. He's hoping to use some of that cover to his advantage finally. Fourth and Fifth Corps pushing back.
Your men have been routed, sir.
District and right wing having a very hard time holding on to the last bit of ground that they own. Yeah, lines are getting very, very thin on both sides. Sub 100 man lines almost across the board. There's a couple of Union lines that are a little healthy, but oh no, Mini Stop has a couple of decent ones actually. Fourth and Fifth Corps still has some power to it. And then this damned 132nd Pennsylvania. Hey, you guys. Yeah, fuck you. Oh god, another Union push. Petered out. Brought over the Southern Island reinforcements, trying to make sure he can sweep through 2021st. Anderson and District both had a bit of a issue with this incredibly bold piece of artillery on this hill, and they wanted to make it cease to exist. Didn't work so great for District. Went a little better for Anderson. Over in the woods, Mini Stop is pulling back to try and regain some morale, regain some steam, probably. Possibly he just realized he does not have the numbers in that section to try and push it. He's only got about a little over 200 men there. All right, Coco and Wolf over on far left flank of the Confederacy. It's brutal for Coco being this close to the enemy artillery, especially with these incredibly small left-wing lines, but he makes it work, doing everything he can to try and just survive over here and keep all of these troops over here with him. He's breaking apart though. I think Second Corps wished they could push here too, but just I don't think they had enough of a numbers advantage to really want to pull the trigger on that. They're taking some pretty heavy losses anyways. Don't get me wrong, Wolf had me pressured here this entire time, but we still haven't seen a melee charge, and I really think if he had all of his flank units that are currently trying to stop him from getting hit in the back, he could have committed to a multi-line setup and push through line by line. We now have roughly 20 minutes remaining, and we're still fighting over approximately the same area as we were before. Just the same patch here is where this fighting occurs. bodies tell a great story. You can see the advancements, the retreats. You can see the initial 5th Corps rush down the road. They tried to form up, as District tried to form up, rather unsuccessfully. Various lines trying to form and fight, push and hold the enemy. The units that tried to charge where the 1841 was originally. Got a lot of men over in this area with that. And then back on this side. We have progress being made. Got rid of the artillery shooting across the river, which was the biggest thing holding him back. Now everyone's just opening up on these poor couple of regiments that are left, and that's not really a fair fight. Left wing dispatched orders to retreat all the way to map border, and by the time they had formed up again, the 2nd Corps had managed to push their troops back down towards the Confederate main line. Some of them even trying to push towards the artillery in the field. Luckily, left wing rallied and started moving back towards the Confederate main line to flank the 2nd Corps forces. Rush as fast as they can to try and save the day.
A unit has used all available ammunition.
You know, I said it during the battle, and I'll say it now. Something about this fight felt wonderful. It felt so dynamic. It was very back and forth, up and down, multiple times. There was points where I remember the members on my team, we were sitting in the voice chat going, oh, you know, we've got this. We've definitely won. We outnumber them. And then all of a sudden, you see a couple units that we didn't notice before. We take some heavy losses. We're like, oh, God, we're going to lose. I'm going to break right now. I need reinforcements. Help me. Moving troops back and forth. I have right-wing troops that were reserves that moved back and forth between the left side of the line multiple times throughout the engagement. District has to fall so far and then fall back again. They are running incredibly shy on manpower, but they're still trying everything they can. 20th Corps having to detach to try and detain try and detain the majority of Anderson on this island across the way. All of these tactical positions, the flank going on with left wing that tied up so many of 2nd Corps' troops and delayed them from being able to commit a full frontal push. It caused a very, very interesting fight, and I loved it. I loved everything in this fight. It was great. Both sides did amazing. All the players on both sides did as well as they could have been at any one of the situations they were given. With, you know, a couple of faster orders here or there might have helped, but otherwise it was, you know, good jobs all around. The siege mortars right here, and these howitzers here formed the cornerstone of our defense of these woods off the road.
Your men have been routed, sir.
Oh, the Texas Dismounted Cavalry. This was a suicide charge. It was a terrible, ill-advised charge. Do not ever repeat this in your commanding experience, but they were out of ammunition. So, you know, I figured either let them sit there and get shot or let them go in and at least get a couple kills. You know, they didn't get many, but they got a few. Also softened them up so the district could charge, because I think they had a couple of troops that were out of ammunition as well. We did a lot of shooting, okay? Confederate supply lines were not ready for the war. And we get some retreating 3rd and 11th United States. 62nd Pennsylvania, though, is holding on. Well, maybe. Speaking of Pennsylvania, where's my biggest nemesis? Oh, there they are. I think he felled them back to try and regain stam or some shit, but these guys were the bane of my existence. Yeah, in that close range push, I still had enough men in my side. Not a lot of men, but enough men to deliver mass casualties before he could line up and volley. Mass routing along 4th and 5th Corps. I also believe, I could be wrong, but I think his general went about this time too.
Your men have been routed, sir.
Yeah, I don't see his general, so may have booked it already. And my general just routed. 5th Corps lost their general in the initial push-up. They lost him to a howitzer shell while he was trying to inspire the men. 4th and 5th Corps lost theirs in this last push here just a few moments ago. Saw me lose mine. I think District still has their general. District had lost their general by this point or not. Well, I don't see him around, so I imagine he's gone. District realizing they made a mistake, and there's still a good amount of 2021st here. So they're pulling back. At this point, we are at about 11 and a half minutes left, and Union's still technically... No, Confederate has locked victory at this point. It's 4-5. It is swung now that we control the island. And if you take a look at the map, you can see Chaotic's forces just off in the distance there as well, pushing across the north side of the map. It was about this point that the realization of full victory had sunk across the Confederacy team. Second Corps was basically going back and forth between choices of death in the woods. The last of 4th and 5th, and 5th Corps was slowly being pushed through or shot down. I would normally like to go in for a couple more close-up shots on some of these line battles, but I know the trees make it difficult to see on those close-up shots, so, you know, just doing my best to give you a good picture of what's going on with these last few engagements. Trying to fight their way out of the woods.
Your men have been routed, sir.
Started breaking up a little bit on the left side. Second still trying to give some stiff resistance. holding the field. Guess who it is? The 132nd Pennsylvania.
Your men
Still kicking.
routed, sir.
Still a pain in my ass. Alright, 5 minutes left, and this is the overview of the battlefield. The vast majority of the Union armies are in full retreat, trying to make their way out of this engagement. The Union troops that are still in the woods are fighting valiantly to try and crush this Confederate pocket over here. I will say there's not many troops on either side left alive for that little pocket here in the trees. But yeah, Confederacy has secured all of the lock points on the island in the south, even one in the center north. And here. They're making their way over this way, claiming all of points of combat. Oh god, the entirety of right wing has collapsed here. We did suffer a mass rout. Fighting against 2nd, 4th, and 5th throughout this entire battle has finally just decimated my lines. I have basically nothing left. And the goddamn 132nd Pennsylvania. I hope you're happy with yourself, Wolf.
Have been routed, sir.
And the last stand of the 12-pound howitzer. It's okay, it did its job. Second Corps has decided that the day is lost. They are now pulling off their troops to try and create some kind of lane for retreating troops to escape. At this point, District was just walking at all the remaining Union troops, slowly meleeing them one by one.
A unit has used all
As this wraps up here with the last 30 seconds or so, I'll give it one more look over of all these battle lines here as we fell back, held, pushed multiple times. People stopped or came forward, fell back. All the way from where it started here in this road, this patch of land here. We have the vicious battle over the island on this northeast corner. We had some fighting in the fields over here by the riverbank. Yeah. That's going to be it. This is the battle. Confederate victory off of Locke. Off of real quick math, I think it was roughly 16,000 versus 13,000. Give or take a couple hundred, but roughly about a 3K difference. I tried to mention who everyone was during the matches, but here's their names and everything. Floyd formed. It was a very hard fought battle. It was incredibly difficult for the Confederates, outnumbered so heavily in the center. We had to keep pulling and trying to attrition the Union center, that bulge, just pick off as many men as we could, and the artillery definitely did its job. Take a look real quick. See that the 12-pound howitzers were crucial the entire match, and those 1841s, they did a phenomenal job for how early they were knocked out. and then multiple regiments of troops did solid as well. So it was good, very good match. All right, remember down below, link tournament. Check it out if you'd like to take part. I'll catch y'all later.